citizens across the Democratic Republic of Congo are blocked from accessing any internet or text messaging services as the country waits for the results of the weekend's rather chaotic presidential elections. The ruling coalition and opposition both claim they're on track to win, although many people weren't able to vote because of alleged intimidation, as well as the Ebola outbreak. The authorities claimed the clampdown was necessary to preserve public order, whilst critics fear it could be a sign of election fraud. We're joined now by Vava Tampa, the founder of Save the Congo. And literally, are you unable even to get hold of anybody that you normally talk to in Congo by devious means?
Absolutely no one. No by text, no on social media, no via Skype, absolutely no means whatsoever. So we have absolutely no idea what is going on the ground, whether or not people have been arrested, whether or not people are alive. It's really frightening.
It's almost without precedent that anyone's ever managed to do this. But they've literally sealed the entire country off. What was the last thing you heard?
Well, the last thing we heard was just how incredibly chaotic and how incredibly disorganized the election that happened on the 30th of December were. And we saw scenes and evidence of electoral fraud, huge irregularities. There are evidence. I mean, before I came, I was just reading a report by the African Union. For the first time, it actually makes it clear there were voting stations which opened, people started to vote 5 hours after. So it goes to show simply that the election were not free, fair, transparent, or anything of such. And the government, Mr. Kabila, is incredibly frightened that people would see what happened across the country and people would rise up and push him out. And as a consequence, he has decided to punish an entire population.
Well, now, what is the international community actually doing? You mentioned the African Union. Are they doing anything?
Well, that's the situation, that's the problem. I mean, in African Union, you have few people who are incredibly amazing, largely people, government in West Africa, who are doing who are saying the right thing, but the vast majority are, to be absolutely frank, corrupt and dictatorial.
What about the United Nations?
Well, the United Nations can only be as strong as the will of the 5 members of the UN Security Council. Well, Britain has been incredibly disappointing. We've heard absolutely nothing from the FCO, absolutely nothing from our ambassador in Kinshasa. And here the problem is, the solution is
because they
really
presumably
clear.
could use some sort of apparatus to talk to the outside world.
Huge. Britain has such a huge, tremendous influence through SADC, which are largely Anglophone-speaking countries, the only part of the continent which Kabila is frightened about, but Britain refuses to act.
So what do you want done now? What would you call upon the international community to do?
The solution for this crisis is and has always been a civilian transition without Kabila, led by someone like Denis Mukwege to organize free, fair, transparent elections. Without elections being free, fair, or transparent, Congo cannot move forward. There would not be peace in Kasai or in Beni. And in Kasai, as we know, 4,000 people have been killed because of these elections.
But you're crying for something which is without precedent in free Congo, if one could call it like that, you know, since colonialism. I mean, this has gone on and on and on and on.
It has gone on for far too long, and we have paid so much in terms of human cost. Over 5.4 million people were killed between 1990 and 2008.
And this is such a rich country.
It's incredibly rich. It's a paradise on earth. And what needs to happen now is simply the international community needs to act before it's too late. And that action needs to be a transition without Kabila, without any politician, a technocratic transition led by Mukwege, Denis Mukwege, who won the Nobel Peace Prize, to organize elections that would be free, fair, transparent, to return peace in Congo.
Vava Tampa, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.